today, welcome to my Stream 2 2025. So today we'll be covering something about this POL. So today we're going to cover about me. We're going to cover 2 habits of heart and mind. We're going to cover about some of the interests I found out or I liked. Here are some of my sources that support it, and my math prompt, my ELA prompt, and of course my rules. So some things about me is I like to play and I like to listen to music, since also music is really good for you. And I like to play my Nerf guns because, well, who doesn't? I like to spend time with my friends because that keeps me out of the house. And I like to watch sports such as the NFL and the NBA. So that's already mine. So the definition of curiosity is you're always showing an interest in new things. So always asking questions, new topics. A good thing about curiosity is that it opens up your mind and you can become a more collaborative person, which is a thing I'll be explaining later. And you can also become a very social person, since curiosity opens your mind and you are willing to answer questions when the teacher asks any question. So some examples that I have about curiosity is the different types of economies in the US, such as totalitarianism, capitalism, socialism, communism. And another example I have was about the US national budget. The US national budget is about $6 trillion, and the US just divides up the money like in veteran affairs, law enforcement, military, and defense, and all that stuff. So curiosity is good for you. So another habit of heart and mind is collaboration. The meaning of collaboration is you work with somebody else, and it includes teamwork. You should also collaborate with someone you don't normally talk to, since that you will be easier to make friends, so you don't struggle a lot with new partners and don't complain too much. So some examples I have about collaboration is, of course, working on a school project. So on fall exhibition, we worked on a chemistry board game, and me and my teammates were we were kind of discussing on what type of subject of science we were doing. So when we ended up doing some trivia questions on science, chemistry, and I kind of wanted to do something else, and then in the end I agreed with my teammates, since they had better options, and we ended up doing a good result, a good score. Another example I have was playing in a chamber group or orchestra, since though they have a lot of people who play, and they all have to work together to make a good sound and blend together. Another example I have is playing in a basket and football team, since every single person in the team has a responsibility of guarding or not letting the enemy team get to the end zone or scoring a basket, since if you make one mistake, they're all going to blame it on you, and that's why you should also take some responsibility as well. So one thing I did was earthquakes. So earthquakes are, well, everybody at least has experienced an earthquake. If you didn't, well, I don't believe it. Earthquakes are, I guess, really bad because they can cause a lot of damage to houses and cars, and if an earthquake's epicenter starts in the ocean, there's a possible chance that a tsunami could happen, which is obviously not really good, since we literally live 10 minutes, 20 minutes away from the ocean. If a tsunami happens, you could get cooked. So one thing to know about earthquakes is that their tectonic plates keep constantly moving. So in the world, there are 7 giant tectonic plates, and California is in the middle of 2 giant ones. So there is that means that California has a chance it's more frequent for earthquakes to happen here, because there's been at least 10, or I don't know how much, but there's been earthquakes here. So tectonic plates keep constantly moving. The good thing about that is that the Earth's crust has an extremely amount of heat. So that means that all the tiny cracks that the Earth has, that's where heat can escape. So if tectonic plates don't move, that means that the Earth's heat will drastically increase, which is absolutely really bad because it will be a harder place to live. Animals and humans might possibly die. That also means that the CO2 in the Earth will get stuck, which will also mean that it will increase. So the good thing, I guess, tectonic plates are also good that they move because, like I said, all that stuff happens. So I guess earthquakes can also be good in a good way. Also, mountain ranges and volcanic activity will be slightly less. Well, not slightly, a lot less. So that means that earthquakes will be extremely, I guess, would be really rare for an earthquake to happen. So earthquakes happen because they keep constantly moving. They hit fault lines, which are these things right there. The Earth naturally makes them. So plates get stuck there. Then once they get stuck, they'll get stressed out and move even more. So that means that once they get stressed out, they'll slip and release a lot of energy. So that is how an earthquake happens. So that is a picture of how earthquake happens. The epicenter is down there, and you see how the plates will keep moving and how houses move and, like, I don't know, your stuff moves. So yeah, that explains it. So here are some of my sources that backed up everything I looked for. These sources were really helpful because if I didn't know them, I wouldn't be able to know much more information. So to my math problem. So basically, this math problem is about constant rate or constant rate. So question says, one year, Josie moved into a new house and noticed a beautiful vine growing around the back fence. So she recorded the data below. So as you can see, those are the weeks that happen, and those are the inches. So as you can see, the top row, it moves by 1, and then the other row moves by 3. So the first question asks you, how tall was the vine 7 weeks after she moved in? So I put the first 3 here and first 3 there. So as you can see, the weeks move up by 1, which would be 7, and then the height will move by 3, which would be 25. So the first answer will be 25. So next question says, how tall was the vine 3 weeks after she moved in? So it's easy. You just simply move the 4 by 1, minus 1, and you also move the height of the inches, minus 3. So 16 minus 3 would be 13. The next question asks you, how tall was the vine when she first moved in? So in math, we don't go to week 0, we go to week 1. So you would, like in the other question, you would see the 3. So now 16 minus 3 would be 13, which would be week 3. If you subtract 3 from 13, you will get 10, which would be week 2. And then from week 1, you will subtract 3 from 10, and then you will get 7, which answers that question. So the next question asks you to predict how tall the vine was 19 weeks after she moved in. So it's also easy. You just simply move the weeks up. I'm obviously not going to put it there because I don't have any more space. So if you move up all the weeks up to 19 and the height of the inches to height of the vine of inches, if you keep going, your answer will be 61. So the final question asks you, how tall was the vine when it was initially purchased? So like I said, we don't go to week 1, now we go to week 0, which was before she moved into the house. So on the other question, you got 7, which was week 1. So now if you just subtract another 3, your answer will be 4. So 4, these are all of the answers, and this question is just simple since it's just the rate of yeah. So here is my ELA prompt. So in this semester, we had something called CYOA. CYOA is basically where a story has multiple endings, like 3, 4, 5, and not a traditional narrative where a traditional narrative has just one ending. So the cool thing about CYOA is that it's written in second person, which basically makes you, the reader, feel like the protagonist, and you make all the decisions in the story. So this semester, or this POL, we had to choose like a short paragraph or a short scene and make it better. So here is like the simple scene. So as you can see, the backpack buzzes. You forgot all about the weird device you picked up at the park yesterday. You look around your room, unsure what to do. Your phone starts ringing unknown numbers. So that's really boring because the story doesn't have enough sensory details and tension. Basically, it doesn't grab the reader's attention. If the reader reads that, he or she will probably just ignore it and just, I don't know, find another book to read. So once you take all this information and upgrade it, you will get this. The backpack keeps buzzing and buzzing. You remember all about the weird device you picked up at the park. You hear footsteps up at your front door, but you can't see. Instantly, you feel a shiver running down your spine. Then your phone starts ringing an unknown caller that says, "Run away." That basically, that grabs the reader's attention, and the reader wants an engaging hook. Basically, it grabs the reader's attention, and it basically makes the reader want to read more of the story. So, some of my SMART goals. I struggle with task initiation and organization. I will obviously forget about the assignment that was assigned to me. My backpack is very messy, and my materials at home, like pencil, paper, eraser, will be scattered around, and I sometimes won't be able to find it. So I can get better at this by starting assignments right away, which is basically task initiation. You obviously clean your backpack so you don't get paper or anything that's crumbled up in your backpack. Also, leave your materials more organized. Then you can find your pencils, paper, and erasers much faster. Another thing I struggle with is time management. Time management will basically carry you to high school and college, since you need to prioritize all of your tasks and assignments that are pretty much due. So that means I forget to check my work, I forget to check my email, and of course I forget to check my Canvas. So that's really bad. Also, I'm a person who will procrastinate a lot, which basically means you will forget all about your work and leave it to the last day, which is really bad since all of your assignments can get accumulated, and which will obviously not be good for you since you'll get stress and anxiety. So there are 3 ways to get better at that. For example, you can set up a schedule, or I can set up a schedule, since I'm a person who likes to do that a lot. So you can also set up a timer, so you can set up like a 10 minute timer, and also take short breaks in the middle. So I guess you can like also take a break. Also try to avoid any distractions, because sometimes I go to YouTube and try to watch a video that will actually help me, like math, ELA, and I just see like a video that, I don't know, NBA Finals, Minecraft or something, and that will completely distract me, and I'll take like at least 20 minutes into watching the video. And I sometimes completely forget that I have to do an assignment, so I try really hard not to do that, and I hope I can get better by next year, which will be high school. So thank you guys for listening to my presentation. Any questions or comments? No questions?
There will definitely be questions because everyone has to say something.
I liked how